And we're back. We're doing daily doubles today on the Body Beauty Show. And today, our guest number 2, November 10th, 2010, year of the madness of COVID and the rest of it. We have Ashley. Now, if I mispronounce your last name, I give you full express permission and consent to slap me on either cheek. But Ashley Beaulieu of Permanent Makeup in Maine. Quick bit of a praise bit here for her before we dive into the deep into the pool. Ashley has been awarded and rated the numero uno, which is 1 in English, in the state of Maine for best permanent makeup artist and medical micropigmentation, as well as the #1 best business award for all businesses. That's all ALL businesses in the Upper East Coast. If you're looking for the best of the best, I think we have her on the show today, and her name is Ashley. Ashley, thanks for joining. How in the heck are you? You've got a pulse. Things are good. How is life?
Things are going good. We had a mandatory shutdown for COVID for about 12 weeks in the state of Maine. But since we reopened, everything has been really good, actually.
I love it. That's exciting. So
Yeah.
let's start with the interesting bit here, which is you. And I want to start at the genesis, the inception, the moment where Ashley decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own thing. Because I'm assuming your backstory involves you working for the man or the clock and punching a clock and not working for yourself. But you had a moment where you decided, this is it. I'm going all in. I'm going to do me. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to risk it. And I'm going to see if I can get that biscuit or whatever the kids say these days. Tell us about that moment.
So I was working full-time for 2 different jobs. One of them, I was a manager at Panera Bread, actually. And the other one, I was working at LO Bean. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's an Upper East Coast thing for winter apparel. So anyway, I was working for LO Bean and I was working for Panera, and I decided to go back to school for permanent makeup. And I went down to Florida, to Orlando, and graduated from Nouveau Couture. So I came back up to Maine. I started my own business doing permanent makeup. And I still continued to work at Panera and LO Bean for probably a good 6 months because I wasn't comfortable making that direct move. But so I would do the permanent makeup on, after the end of the day or on the weekends. So I kept my full-time job until I built enough clientele. And then when I built enough clientele, I slowly integrated into doing my own thing. And I went from, this was 2 years ago. And then last year I went full time into doing my own thing. My husband was working at the Walmart distribution center, and he was working 3 or 4 12-hour days. And then the end of last year, I decided to supplement, because last year's sales, they kind of dropped for permanent makeup through the summertime. And I wanted services to kind of even me out throughout the year. So I decided to bring in cryo skin last year. So I brought it in the winter in hopes that through this summer it would blow up. Well, as you well know, we had COVID shutdown, but my sales last year, just to give you kind of a perspective, my sales last year from June to January or December 31st was around, I would say, $25,000. And then
year?
for 6 months, 25,000.
Okay.
So my sales significantly changed from January to date. I'm almost 300,000 since January to date, and that's with a 12-week shutdown. But
Hey Siri, how to math 25,000 to 300,000? What is that? That's 1,200%.
That's right.
That's called absolutely explosive growth. Do tell us how the hell you did that.
So when everybody else was doing the PPP, it was just me, myself, and I. So I wasn't eligible for any of that stuff because it was just me. And I wasn't eligible for unemployment. I wasn't eligible for any kind of financial assistance. And even if I was, the process was just so long and strung out that I didn't take the chance. I didn't even bother to apply. What I did is everybody was shutting. We had businesses here in Maine shut down permanently through COVID. So what I did is 2 weeks into COVID, I talked to my marketer and we did a gift card campaign. So while everybody was getting their stimulus checks, we did a gift card campaign and people bought gifts. So I matched 50%. So somebody would buy $300 and I would match 50% of that. And they would have 450. And so by the time I reopened, I had a bunch of people with gift cards, but what they bought in gift cards didn't pay for everything. It just paid for a little bit of it, but at least got them in the door
Mm,
to do something. And then I
yeah.
upgraded them. So it was literally the perfect setup. During COVID, I made $47,000 in 6 weeks because I did a gift card campaign.
Hold on. Sorry, the servers in my brain computer are exploding. That's insane. 47K in the middle of COVID lockdowns.
Yeah.
You pulled
But
in five
everybody was
figures.
on their computer, everybody was on their
Wow.
phone. So me and my marketer did a gift card campaign and I got 47,000 in 6 weeks
So why gift cards?
because they could use it for any service that I provided.
So it was the fact that because I'm trying to imagine, you sitting down at the whiteboard, at the notepad, scheming, okay, what the hell am I going to do to get people in the door? I've got to do something. It's got to be something. It's got to be something unique, something different, something that no one else is
Yep.
doing.
I'm so matching
How did
it.
that, yeah, talk me through how
I'm
you thought through that.
50% of it. Because I thought what people are getting stimulus checks right now, how are they going to spend it? They're going to spend it stimulating the economy. They're going to do something for themselves because people are selfish and they like to do that. So that's what they did. They bought gift cards for themselves for services that I provided. Most of it was cryo.
Hmm, interesting. That's genius. I mean, I think a lot of people that are stuck in the Stone Age would have said, "I'm just going to go get a newspaper ad." No, God,
But
no, please don't. Yeah, right,
everybody was on
exactly.
Facebook. Everybody and their mother was on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my mom was certainly. I'm not on Facebook. My mom was. I think you're right. So how how did you? Well, talk me through the execution of that. So how did you promote it? How did you get the people to even see that you had a gift card thing? How did you do that? Unpack that.
Oh, I put it on my business page. I have a pretty good following on Facebook anyway. But we did Facebook ads with ad
Mm,
spend behind it. So we did a gift card campaign with Facebook ad spend behind that.
okay. So you probably had a four-figure
Demogra-
budget for your ads.
demographic. No, for the ads, we didn't even have, no, the ad spend was like $2.50 per day. It was crazy.
Hold on.
It
How
was
many leads did you get per day? I'm trying to figure out what your cost per sale was, or cost per gift card acquisition, or however you want to slice that.
I would have to ask my husband, but it wasn't it. First of all, I did the gift card campaign that I did first was I targeted all of my clients through I do use Vagaro for booking. So I targeted all my current clients first.
Hmm.
So I probably made 10 grand within 2 days just from my current clients that I already had. So then we decided to put it on Facebook and put ad spend behind it. So I think I only spent $600 in ad spend and I got that much back.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So that's a cost per acquisition of something like pennies.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So
But
with
I've blown right up. I mean, it was just me before COVID. I had one girl that I was looking to hire because I was already busy before COVID. I now have 15 employees in 4 locations. I mean, I
when did you
blew up.
start hiring for those 15?
So I hired right during COVID. I hired did training during COVID. And then as soon as we opened up the doors, I was ready to go. I never took out any loans to do anything because loans are just a bad idea across the board. So everything I've done, I did slowly and I branched out slowly. So that's another thing too.
Yeah, on the last show, one of the things the doctor and I were speaking about. Well, this is my characterization of what she said, which is that you should grow slow, but as fast as you can. as fast as you can. So I want to dive into this a bit more because I think the Facebook stuff, we can get into like the audiences that you selected and that kind of thing. I think it's fairly simple. Well, okay. I can't resist. Okay, let's back up briefly, and then we'll get into hiring and the growth phase because you have entered a 400x growth phase where you've got three locations that are pending opening, if I'm not mistaken. So your Auburn is already open, Lewiston's already open, and then Naples. Oh wow, three more. Naples, Topsham, and Augusta Waterville are coming soon.
Yes.
Wow, so 5 in total. Okay. So
Yep.
we'll come back to that. We'll dovetail back to the growth phase here in a minute. But I do want to get a bit more clarity on how you targeted your audience and what the execution of that gift card bit looked like. Because I think a lot of people, they jump into Facebook Business Manager. They're completely overwhelmed with all the options for targeting, for creatives, for copy, and the rest of it. And they just get paralyzed and they do nothing. Or worse, they go hire someone that is not reputable, is not a performance-based marketer. They don't have any guarantees. They just say, yeah, pay us $5K. We'll take care of you.
So
Yeah.
I
How did
actually
that work out
have
for
a
you?
I have a marketer. So he does all of that stuff, but he built his own system. So he has a system that is an automated system at this point. Um, funnels and all. I'm not a marketer, so I don't really know, but I did hire a marketer, and I go through DeMarcus Milner with aesthetics marketing. He does an amazing job. He's costly, but if you know what you're doing in the beginning and you know how much he costs, what I did was I saved up enough money to pay for 3 months outright, knowing that it's going to take about 3 months to get
Mm-hmm.
the funnels going
Yep.
with high level and all that stuff and the
Mm-hmm.
pixel and the back end of Facebook. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to take about 3 months to start seeing good results. And I hired him the end of last year into this year. So I already had that base come January. So that's where marketing is where it's all at. I mean, everything is word of mouth. But when you have a marketer and you have a referral program and you have word of mouth and you have clients that are seeing results and talking about it, you're going to have good results no matter what. But it's a combination because just because you got a marketer doesn't mean you're going to make anything. You have to have a marketer, and then you have to know the marketer will bring the clients to you. It's your job to sell them on the package, really. And I have a higher price point across the board from most cryo, skin, or cryotherapy in general services. I mean, a 5 treatment package with me is $2,000. So I'm more higher end price range. And then I also built my own service package list because I got mommy makeovers too that are $8,000 to $12,000. And we have
So
people that buy into it.
yeah, well, I think personally, I'm a huge fan of having higher pricing and then fewer customers. So
Right.
finding your 20% that give you the 80% of your revenue. But real quick, because this is something that I think people largely do not understand. Okay, with respects to hiring talent that is expensive. Okay, I can't afford
Right.
them; they're too expensive. Okay, listen,
Then they
listeners.
can't afford to have a 7-figure business if they can't
Right,
afford a marketer.
right. So here's my attempt to put a bullet in that idea once and for all. Okay, LeBron James, extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. Guess what? Who won the finals this year? Oh, wow. The team that LeBron James is on. What do you know? Look at the results you get when you pay for it. So that's
Yep.
not a call to just go out and willy-nilly hire, these purported
Right.
gurus for X amount of gobs of cash. But know that with a higher sticker price, generally speaking, the talent that you get, and on the back end, now it's not always an immediate results, but on the back end, you invariably will see results that will be game changing. And like Ashley said,
It
even
is.
such that it has the capacity to lift you from a 4-figure a year business in the worst case to a
Right.
7, 8, 9-figure a year business. Because I guarantee
Right.
you, Ashley probably hasn't spent 1,000 hours researching funnel creation, copywriting,
Nope.
and everything on the mechanical back end technological side of it because she's a
Nope.
permanent makeup artist and, by the way, the number one in Maine.
Right.
right?
I don't have time for
Outsourced.
that. So I hired somebody that is their specialty.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And if anybody wants to look him up, I mean, his name is DeMarcus Milner, aesthetics marketing. He specializes in cryo marketing, anything aesthetic wise, any service aesthetics. Cryo is one of them.
I love it. Okay, let's change gears here. So let's talk through now that you've given us a bit of a tease as to what your funnel looks like from capture, lead creation to conversion. Let's talk about the next logical step, which is conversion. So a lot of people, I think, forget this, that yes, even if you get 5,000 leads a month, 10,000 leads a month, 50 leads a
You
month,
still have to
if
pick
you
them.
can't convert them, you're toast. You're going to
Right.
lose them. So how do you
So
convert those leads? Talk us through that.
So in the beginning, it was me, myself, and I'm the one who talked to clients when they messaged in or when they contacted, when they called, when they texted. I'm the one who did it. So I hired my receptionist and I trained her my way. And I taught her how to talk to people, how to answer questions, how to be lovely on the phone, even when clients are sometimes not so nice. And now she is booking consistently 30 to 40 clients a week. So that's a big deal.
This is when
Even
they
if
call in, right? This is when leads call you out of the blue.
call, text, message on Facebook, send an email, it's all of it. High
Okay.
level, everything. Yeah.
So what does that look like? So you've obviously trained her in some capacity to be able to do that, because as I know, a lot of times when people call in, this is how it goes. Okay. Uh, ring, ring, Austin from Cryoskin. Yeah. What's the price? It's like, oh my God.
Yep. So we get people in at, so normal for one treatment package, it's normally $500. And we have an ad that states that. We have a promo that if you come in on a consult and first treatment, it's $149. And then you're ready, you want to see the results? We'll show you the results at $149. And then we'll upgrade you to a treatment package because you're going to see better results in 5. Imagine what you just saw in 1. We're going to show you what 5 is going to do. And then you're going to get addicted to that. And you're going to want to do 10. And you're going to want to do the rest of your body. That's how that goes.
I see. So how do you have her tactically handle that whenever a call comes in? You know, I'm almost tempted to role play with you, but I won't. So I call in and I say, Ashley, what's the price? I mean, how do you have your people deal with that?
Well, they kind of know the situation already because of the ad that they saw. The ad walks them through a landing page that explains the service, explains what you're getting for that amount of money. And then if they're interested, they're going to click a button that says book. And then it goes and routes through to my receptionist. So we're only getting people that are interested anyway. We've already weeded out the crappy people. We've already weeded out the people that cannot pay $149. If somebody has an issue paying $149 for a deposit, they're not going to pay $5,000 for a treatment package. And I don't want them anyway.
Right. Right.
See what I'm saying?
So you have self-selection mechanisms built into the landing page, which means you have good copy, which you did not write, presumably, but you hired, I forget his name
Right.
already.
Yep.
DeMarcus. You hired DeMarcus, the copywriting guru, to send it to Frank Kern and all these geniuses, David Ogilvy and the rest of it, to do that dirty work for you. So they meaning the landing pages, do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. But what have you learned, or what has this receptionist of yours learned as she's navigated the inbound calls that have come in? Because assumably there are still patterns that emerge that are difficult, because you mentioned you have difficult people that call in. So what does that look like? How do you train your receptionist for that?
It's always be calm, collected. The client's always right. Don't argue with them. But be nice, because most people want to connect on a human level. They want to talk to somebody. That's the reason why women come in for these services, is because they want to relax and they want to talk. So it's kind of like a therapy session type thing. So my receptionist is really good at talking people through things. I mean, we've had clients that have come in, didn't have a good day, came in, was kind of upset. By the time they were done with the service and done with at their appointment, they walked out a happy person. And that's what we want. We want to enhance on making someone feel good. So when you enhance on that, that's a trigger in any human's mind to be like, okay, I want that. They want that. So that's, That's just human nature though. Like you want to have a good experience, especially when you're dealing with women, because that's what all women want.
So how do you hire for that? Let's say I don't know, I own a med
It's not easy.
spa. I need a receptionist. What am I
It's
looking
not
for?
easy. Like the girl that I hired, she worked at a bank before this, and I offered her more money than what she was making at the bank. She was making, I think, $14 an hour. I offered her 20. So I mean, that was a no-brainer for her, but she already had sales experience too. So
Hmm.
so you got to get the right person and somebody that also values their job. I give her also bonuses. So if she books 25, we have bonuses starting at 25. If she books 25 people in a week, she gets 250. If she books 30, she gets 300. If she books 40, she gets 400. If she books 50, 500. And if she books 100, she gets 1,000. And that's added on top of her check every single I pay weekly, so that's added on top of her check in a week.
Wow.
She
So she could
consistently books
theoretically,
between 30 and 40 clients a week consistently.
I think that's key. I think a lot of people assume that the receptionist is someone that needs to be tethered to an hourly rate, removed from incentives. That's stupid. That should not be the
Yeah,
case. So
that
I
is.
think what you're saying is
You
absolutely
give
an
them
imperative.
reason to get more, a
Right.
reason to get, and you can afford it when you're ready for a receptionist and you're ready to not do it on your own anymore. You can afford that. Don't shortchange your receptionist because that is the reason you're going to be busy.
But I can't afford to do that.
Well, people that can't afford to do that do not have a 7-figure mindset.
Yes, preach it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you the most liberating decision I've ever made and what it was. Okay, briefly. There was a day where I was mowing my lawn and I asked myself, why in the hell am I wasting my time doing this?
When
Similarly,
you can hire.
I was in the grocery store. Why am I pissing away my time plucking out apples from the produce section when I could just pay Jeff Bezos and his empire's minions to bring it to me? So here's the
Yep.
takeaway. I figured out what my hourly rate is, so what I want it to be, as if I was a 7-figure mindset type individual, and I determine what that rate is an hour. Let's just call it 500 an hour, is what I'm worth. Okay. Maybe some people would say, now you're worth $5 an hour. And some would say, no, 5,000 an hour. Whatever the case, I figured out the number. And now when it comes to making decisions on how I spend my time, everything that I decide to do is held against the light of that. So that if it's a $20 an hour job mowing my lawn, guess who's not going to do that? Not
Right.
me. I'm going to pay someone to do that. I outsource
Right.
it. And by the way, this applies everywhere. You need a website. Why are you wasting the time trying to create your own website? Hire
When
someone.
there's designers, correct.
Yes. Okay. Have we put a bullet in this 5-figure mindset, or is there something else that you would add for the listeners, Ashley, from what you've learned as you've spawned the 7, 8-figure, 10-figure mindset that you have
Nope.
today?
So I've actually jumped the next step. So I now have in less than a year, I went from 5 figures to now 6 figures. How I'm going to get to 7 figures? People ask me that all the time. How are you going to get there? The difference between 6 and 7 figures is franchising, and that is what I'm going to do.
Okay, great. Well, we're done with the show. Listeners, there's a secret to success. Nice knowing you, Ashley. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, look, this is exactly it. You have to find a way to scale what you're doing. And
Yes.
you working in the business, this is a theme we constantly harp on the show. You working in the business, dragging the needles for microblading or the wand for fat reduction, whatever it is that you're doing in the business is not going to allow you to scale ever. It's impossible. You can't do it.
Correct.
You've got to find a way to scale. And you've got two
Correct.
options, listeners. You can either create an online platform where you sell digital products. So it could be courses like my last guest, Dr. Christine, that has created some membership type sites or course offerings that are video based, et cetera, that she sells. Or you can open more brick and mortars, as Ashley is doing, via franchising.
So
Unless
I
you can
opened up.
clone yourself, which no one has figured out how to do yet.
Correct. So I opened up an academy. So I'm actually a trainer for permanent makeup, and I have students coming to me for that. But permanent makeup is my base. Cryotherapy is a supplement to income. So it's another service add-on. So permanent makeup is my main bread and butter, and then cryo is a service, and I have several different services in my office. So what I'm doing is I am going to have students come to me, get trained for permanent makeup. Even if they have their own cryotherapy business, they can come to me, get trained in permanent makeup, and go back home and do permanent makeup in their establishment. But people that are here in the state of Maine, they can franchise with me, open up their own shop, and they have all the services provided for them. So, I mean, here's the thing. When you have a bunch of different things, not just one thing, when you have a bunch of different things that supplement each other, so when one gets low and the other goes high and the other, and I mean, great if all of them are high at once, but if one is low and the other is high, you're going to have a good stream of income. You have to have that. And then when you add it all together, you have a good combination, a good successful combination. So that's what I'm going to do is I have an academy already, and we're accepting students already. I'm going to franchise beyond that. Students that graduate can opt into a franchise situation and be successful right off the bat. Everything is built for them. The whole business model, the whole business plan, the look of the business, everything is done for them. All they got to do is follow the steps. It's very simple. Once you have it, it's very simple.
So, quick note on or question on diversification. So when you started, you did permanent makeup, and I'm assuming you
Yep.
started there. Okay.
Yep.
You quickly realized that diversification of your portfolio, so your menu, was an imperative. How did you know, oh my God, English. How did you know that you had enough services on the menu? Is there some sort of heuristic that you have where you realized, or something you look for, or would encourage the listeners to look to know, okay, I have enough services, I'm good. Now it's just time to execute.
Well, when you have to look at it like this. So I had, for me in my situation, permanent makeup sales dropped in the summer because during healing, you can't be out in the sun, at the beach, whatever. Cryo supplements that because everybody wants to get skinny and look good and everything else for the beach. Okay. So that brings things up. Cryo is one of those that's been pretty standard across the board. Permanent makeup fluctuates. But then if you add other little services that kind of work hand in hand with what you're doing already. So for example, I already do a lip blush permanent makeup wise. So then you add in hyaluronic acid fillers, which is a type of filler for your lips that'll enhance that lip blush. Not too expensive. You don't have to be a doctor to do it or a nurse. So it's not as much schooling. You know what I mean? It's not going to school for 10 plus years just to do like regular Juvederm lip fillers. So everything that I do is an alternative to something major. As you well know, cryotherapy is an alternative to plastic surgery or other weight loss things. So I also do fibroblast plasma, same thing. It's an alternative to a facelift. So there's several different things that go hand in hand. Cryotherapy is a great supplement with fibroblast plasma, great supplement to a weight loss journey. Everything that I do wraps around the beauty side of things and feeling and looking great and feeling better about yourself, looking good. That's what I hone in on. So anything that has to do with that is always a good supplement. Even if you add in something small, like I do an eyelash tint and lift, that's an alternative to eyelash extensions. Something that's small can make a big difference because it just makes people feel and look better about themselves. So as far as services go, that's a touch and go. You have to experiment. But in my area, it worked great. And I assumably presume that if you have the same services that I have elsewhere, it's going to be successful. I mean, excuse my language, but I'm in crazy ass small little bumfuck Maine. Nowhere, nothing. And yet I'm making a good income out here because it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of nowhere, you're still going to make good money by honing in on that, because no matter where you're at, women still want to look good.
So I'm trying to think how we could package that into a mental model for people to lean on. And it seems like it's something like this. You have to first start with an idea of which swim lane you want to start in. So for you, there were two things that I noticed. A, it's obviously beauty, duh, right? But that's too global. That's too macro. We got to find a way to microfy that, so to speak. So you seemingly zoned in on or honed in on the niche, let's say, of alternatives. So, you might say for cryoskin's an alternative to cool sculpting, which is, not cheap. It's an alternative. It's a better solution, if you ask me, but I'm biased, so don't take my word for it. And then with your other services as well, they're equally so alternatives in their own right for other more expensive modalities, which you thought would be well suited for your neck of the woods, given that you are in, and I quote, BFE, out in Maine. Okay. Not in Beverly Hills, not in Hollywood, not, in my neck of the woods where everyone's flush with cash, except for me. I'm the plebe out here. So is that about right for how you would go about thinking, okay, how do I diversify? Because we both agree you have to diversify. If you're a one-trick pony, adios, you're toast, you're going to get eaten up by Amazon.
Right.
Okay. So you have to diversify. So is there a minimum number of services that you would say the average salon owner, permanent makeup artist, whatever, needs to offer to even be relevant?
I would say 3. I would say permanent makeup, cryotherapy, cryoskin, and fibroblast plasma. Those are the 3 majors right now. The aesthetic industry is always changing, but for the next, I'm saying 5 years, those 3 are going to be the biggest service options.
Say those 3 again.
So cryotherapy or cryoskin, permanent makeup, and fibroblast plasma.
Got it. Listeners,
And
if you're not taking notes,
all 3 of those are on my website.
Okay. And again, listeners, take note. I'm taking notes because what you're saying is so damn good. Very cool. All right. Diversify. Don't do what I do with investing and just buy Apple stock. Okay. You're going to be toast if they go kaput. Or, hey, I'll get rich. Who knows? Better to diversify. Okay. Let's talk now through your growth phase. Specifically, I want to know how you knew or when you knew or what led to you knowing that opening up another 65,000 locations was the right thing to do. Because there must have been some, decision-making process that led up to that, or signals that you were sniffing out. Okay, now it's time. Talk us through that, because I'm sure there's listeners out there right now that are in the exact same boat and don't know what to do. So they need you. Show them the way.
When you think of McDonald's, for example, there's multiple McDonald's in a state. They're billion-dollar business. Why? Because they have so many locations. It's got the same food every time you go somewhere, and they got a lot of locations. Okay. So if you want to be like McDonald's and have the kind of money that McDonald's does, then you create that, and that's franchising. So that's what I did. But I had this mindset before I even opened my business. My business name is Permanent Makeup in Maine. I'm in the state of Maine. When you Google permanent makeup in Maine, I pop up number 1 every time. That's without having any kind of SEO, because that's my name. That's my business name. Yeah. Cryo in Maine, same thing. Cryotherapy in Maine. I'm number 1 because that is my name. And so I thought of this. I had this mindset already before I even built my business. So that's why I picked my name. That's what my website's name is. So I want to be in the number 1. So I have to project myself as number 1, even before I'm number 1. And look, now I'm rated number 1. Do you see how that happened? I projected myself as that. I said that I was that, and I made it that. Now other people say I'm that because I've already been awarded number 1. So it starts with a mindset. You have to make it happen. It's a lot of work, But when you do that, so many things are going to be good. So when I decide that I want to go into another state, I'm going to be permanent makeup in South Carolina. I'm going to be permanent makeup in wherever, because that is the state that I'm going to be in. So when I start franchising outside of Maine, that's what it's going to be. So when you think like that from the very get-go, there's nothing that's going to stop you to get there. So in the beginning, it's a mindset. Then you just put together the pieces of the puzzle until you get there. And that's what I've done. I mean, I tell people this sometimes and people look at me like I'm crazy, but I've made it happen. When everybody else shut down and some businesses closed for good, it's sad, but I didn't, because I had a different mindset. When everybody else was folding and getting the PPP loan and trying to keep their business afloat, I did a gift card campaign and ensured people were going to come to my business after COVID lifted. I ensured that. I made it possible and I made it a fact. They were going to come to redeem those gift cards. So I made myself clients guaranteed as soon as my doors opened. Honestly, it's just a mindset. It's how you think of things. It's how you process them. If you if you're okay being just your own LLC, whatever. I'm not knocking an LLC, but I'm an S corp for a reason. When I did my taxes, I filed as an S corp first. So when you think big, you're going to do big things. If you're going to just stick to yourself and rent a room out of somebody's space, and that's all you want to do, then that's what you're going to do. If you want to have employees, you're going to have employees. I now have 15 employees and I'm growing and I'm going to keep growing, but it's all in my mind. And I know that I'm going to get there. Like I have no doubts about it. Even if we have another COVID shutdown, I have no doubts.
Stated like a boss.
Yes. Oh,
I love it. Oh, drop the
yeah.
mic. She's walking out.
I mean, here's
She's
the
done
thing
here.
too. When you're doing good things, you're going to have people that mimic you. And I've already spoken to some of the cryo skin head honchos, because we have locally a girl who, one, copied my website, which is not the way to do things, but she copied my website word for word. She just graduated the same school that I did in September. She's copied all of my services. She, matter of fact, got cryo skin. I'm pretty sure she's up in New York doing the training right now. But here's the thing. If you don't have the same mindset that I do, you can copy all the services I have. Just for the record, my attorney hit her with a cease and desist because she did all the things that she did and copying my whole website word for word. You can't just do that. But I'm not even worried. I'm not even worried about somebody coming in and trying to step on my territory and take every single service that I have, because I've already marked the market and people already know who I am. So the best form of flattery is competition and somebody copying you. And when you're in the position that I'm in, you don't even worry about it. Yeah, it's annoying. It's frustrating sometimes. But in the last month, since I've known about this girl that just randomly popped up, she actually has the same name as me, so it's quite weird. She has a different last name, but same first name. And it's odd, but she has tried to copy everything I do. And I'm already 2.5, almost 3 years ahead of her. I already own this area, so I'm not worried about it. But a lot of people worry about the competition. And oh my gosh, there's somebody that's moving in right down the street. When you put as much effort into something that I have, you don't got to worry about that, because it doesn't matter. If anything, what she's doing is going to educate more people. And when people Google it and search, they're going to find me because I've been around longer. So she's just going to educate more people about it. But I know that that's one thing that a lot of people are worried about, because I'm in the cryo forums. I'm in all of them. And a lot of people are worried about somebody being 5 miles down the road. It doesn't matter when you're doing things the right way. It doesn't matter. People want to copy everything you do. When you're good, you're going to be copied. You're going to be imitated every single time. And that's something that I wanted to bring up too, because that is one big thing that I see in the cryo forums, that somebody's right down the street 5 miles from me and they got a cryo machine. It don't matter. Competition is good.
Imitation is flattery, number one. And number two, a woman will cheat on her boyfriend before she cheats on her hairdresser, her stylist, or her beauty provider. Same thing
That
for
is right.
men. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the facts. In
Especially
fact,
if those relationships are built.
yes, yes, yes. I don't care if the world's greatest dry needling physical therapist moved in next door to me. I would still go see my guy, Nick, because Nick's the man. And I don't care, even if this other guy's better. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm going to go to Nick. That's the way it is. So,
Yep.
yeah, don't be uneased about competition. By the way, 300 million people in the States, you can probably carve out a little audience inside of that can get you in the six-figure club. How do I know that?
Yep.
There are 47 million. Wait, hold on. Is this the exact? Hold on. This might be inaccurate. I'm pretty sure there are 47 million millionaires. I think that's global though, so that might not be in the States. But in any case, there's plenty of room in the market. There are plenty of millionaires, plenty of ways to get in the millionaire circle, the seven-figure club, and Ashley is well on her way. So, speaking of millions, let's do my favorite part of the show, which is levers and landmines. And I don't know if you've listened to shows past, Ashley, but levers and landmines is a thematic section of the show where we go through and we do an autopsy and celebration of sorts for the things you've done in the business that have led to either, in the case of levers, extreme growth or positive change in whatever capacity. And landmines are things that if you were to do again, you would stay a mile away from because it blew up some part of the business and it was a disaster. And oh my God, why did I do that? So the listeners can avoid making the same mistakes that you did. So that said, are there any levers and or landmines that you'd be willing to share with our beautiful people with their ears on?
Levers, get a marketer and get a good one. Don't get somebody who is cheap, and do a lot of research on them. Landmines, do not ever add in airbrush tanning ever.
Oh,
I did that
really?
and it made a mess.
Oh, okay.
It was just a room that had a lot of airbrush tan on the walls when I was done. Like, I was tired of it. No, it was just a room not making money, not compared to what the other services I have make. It was a disaster.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
No airbrush tanning and a good marketer. Two things.
So what about doing gender reveal parties in your rooms? Oh wait, that would cause a mess too, or forest fires in some states, which is terrible.
No, but speaking of parties, I mean, I will say that I am a consultant for Pure Romance, and that is a big do Pure Romance parties. Have all these ladies there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, then you add in cryofacials and Botox or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. Parties like that, especially during the holidays, this time of the year, sell tickets, $50 a ticket to get in the door. You will sell them all day long. Put an ad on Facebook, advertise for it. You know, that is the big thing through the holidays is little parties that you advertise 2 weeks out, and then you only let like 20 people come in, and then you do a raffle and you do stuff like that. That is to get people in the door. Anybody that comes gets 20% off of any service that they want to do. I mean, that kind of stuff is going to attract people.
Yeah. I think people need to realize that you need to find something to give before you try to take. And so, you know, in the case of the gift card idea, going full circle back to that, you gave away 50% of the revenue that you could have had otherwise, which, by the way, you would have never gotten that because they wouldn't come in, right? So it's like a fake 50% that you're giving away, but that gets them in the door. And once they get in front of you, the best makeup artist of all time in Maine, Ashley Beaulieu, of course they're going to buy more. You got to get them in the door.
Absolutely. Once they're in the
it
door,
turns out
I do cryo. I was doing cryo all the time. I got people in the door and sold on a package before they even had the service done because I had them so excited about the service and showed them.
All right, Ashley, listen, you're hired. Okay, I'm going to bring you on my team. You're going to sell cryoskin. Yeah, I know. Like everything you've said is dead on, and I'm in alignment. I am in alignment. Well, let's do this. We never have enough time in the day, and for some reason, the time always flies faster than it ought. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do because you really well. When I asked you what your levers were, you instantly said get a marketer. So let's help the listeners out and give some recommendations. What is the name of your guy again? How can they find him?
DeMarcus Milner and Aesthetics Marketing. So if you look up Demarcus Milner, it's DAMARKUS, Demarcus Milner, MILNER. If you look him up, tell him I sent you because he'll give you a good deal, actually. But he's a good marketer and he listens to you, and he is very, when you ask him a question, he gets back to you really quickly. If you have ideas, he'll, like when I have ideas, he'll talk to me about it. Hey, let's try it. 9 times out of 10, though, my ideas are pretty good. So good that he uses them with his other clients.
There's that mindset again.
Yep. He uses them with
That
his other
seven-figure
clients.
mindset.
Hey,
Yep.
it works. And even if it doesn't, would you lose? $20, $30? You know, hey,
Yeah.
$100. Even so, you just made
Yeah.
$30,000. What's it
Right.
matter? So
Yeah, and by the way, ladies and gents, anybody with the last name that rhymes with the name of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, I can endorse, even without knowing who the heck this guy is. So go call him, go email him, snail mail him, fax him, send him a message in a bottle, get connected with Demarcus. I'm sure he'll change the course
it's
of your business.
Demarcus Milner Laser Aesthetics Marketing. Aesthetics is
Got it.
ESH, no A in it.
Aesthetics with an E. Okay. 2 other recommendations, listeners. If you are hangry, that's intentional, but you're hangry for a marketer, go call Brandon Yu. He's a genius. He's a superhero. He might be the Batman from well, I shouldn't be letting his secret out of the bag, but he may be related to Bruce Wayne and share the same name. His company is Redefine Growth Marketing. You can reach him at Brandon at bjyenterprise.com. Or if you can't get connected with him, just email me at Austin at Artemis, or I'll make it easy, Austin at Cryoskin, CRYOskin.com, and I'll get you connected to Brandon or the last guy, and then we'll get into the exit of the show here and land the proverbial plane. But the other guy that is absolutely phenomenal with helping med spas and wellness centers get their act together for their marketing stuff is Nick Corum at Patient Rhino, also a superhero. His real name is Clark Kent, aka Superman, but you didn't hear that from me. All right, Ashley, let's get this show on the road. And by on the road, off the road is what I mean to say. Where can the listeners grab your ears, your eyes, your attention, heckle you, connect with you, steal your ideas, or just talk shop if they want to connect?
Yeah, Instagram, Permanent Makeup in Maine, all spelled out. Maine is MAINE. So that's Instagram. And same with Facebook. Permanent Makeup in Maine, MAINE.
Ashley, my main vein out in Maine. It's good to have you here in the vein. And that's a terrible rhyme scheme I will never make for a rapper. Sorry to disappoint you, Eminem and Tupac. I guess I'll stick to selling. All right, guys. Ashley, thanks for doing this. Had a ball. And yeah, let's get you to the 7-figure club. I would expect it in no less than 2 weeks.
I wish. It will happen, though. It will happen. I don't know about 2 weeks, but it will happen.
I love it, and I believe. All right, Ashley, I'm going to let you go. All the best. Happy November 10th, and Godspeed. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Catch you next time.